speaking from the Advanced Public Relations Manual, doing a 7 to 8 minute speech titled People Are People. Please help me welcome Max Rasquinha. People are people.
Years ago, when I was in Saudi Arabia, I gave my second manual speech with the title called People Are People. Today, after 38 years, I'm using the same title, and it's my privilege to share with you some of my latest events. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, including Mark, the latest comer. 38 years since, I've traveled more than 38 cities of the world. Wherever we go, we witness their architecture, we witness different currencies, we share different restaurants, we go to different museums, we visit all that we can in different cities. But nothing has fascinated us like people. Whatever you do, wherever you go, and whatever you see, to me and to my wife, it's the people. Nothing but people. There's nothing else more important to me and to my wife than people. Whether you are in Japan, whether you are in China, whether you're throughout Asia, whether you're in the Middle East, whether you're in Africa, Europe, South America, Central America, North America, you see all sorts of great things of life. But nothing is more important to us than people, because people are people. People are people. Equates democracy. So long as you can recognize that we are all people, whether we are black or white, young or rich, rich or poor, doesn't matter. It's all the people. Recently, just last week, myself and my wife came back from a nice cruise trip to Europe. This was our 11th cruise that we took. And we traveled from the United States for the first time throughout the Atlantic to Europe. For the first time, we passed through the Strait of Gibraltar. What a beautiful voyage. What a luxurious trip. What a great experience. A big floating monster. Monster that carries 2,500 passengers, another 700 crew members with more than 70 nationalities. Different colors, different cultures, different languages, different age limits, all floating on a luxurious ship in the wide ocean to a destination sometimes it's not known because you're 10 days not even seeing any land. It's all open waters. All that you're traveling is with the company of the sun in the morning that goes out in the evenings, and then appears the moon in different shades and colors with all the twinkling stars. All that you have is people. Those 3,000 people floating in the smooth waters of the Atlantic. Some of the depth of waters that we traveled went from 9,000 feet to 38,000 feet. Some of the old people didn't even want to hear about it. 38,000 feet, smooth waters, blue skies. We didn't see any volcanic ashes, nor we saw any oil slick. It's all smoothness, it's all peace and tranquility. It's all beautiful comfort with the comfort of 3,000 people. It's such a beautiful joy to think that we're all given that one life to enjoy, and we have the people. And it's like the United Nations with 70 nationalities floating in the high seas, going towards a destination called Spain and Portugal. We, after 14 days of cruise, we disembarked at Portugal. For many of you may not know that we, the Christians from India, have a Portuguese ancestry. We had a colony called Goa in India that was captured by the Portuguese in the 16th century. When Christopher Columbus came to America by mistake, followed by him, another Portuguese sailor went towards India called Vasco da Gama. And there we have a big colony called 40,000 Portuguese soldiers in the best of respect. They sent them back home. It was a beautiful capture, but it had a lot of ill feelings, which he perhaps would recollect. It was too small then. 50 years ago, maybe you're not there. So it was such a beautiful feeling at that time when the Portuguese wanted to start a war with India. 5 non-aligned nations, Yugoslavia, Egypt, China, Indonesia, and India, joined together. There were 6 warships from Portugal were heading towards India to attack, and the Suez Canal, the Egyptians stopped the warships. They said nothing to him. That is part of India. And it took a long time for us to reconcile. So this time when my wife and myself went for the first time to Portugal, that is our ancestry. Our great-great-great-great, either grandmother or grandfather were Portuguese. And we went there as goodwill ambassadors, and we said we are from Goa. It was such a pleasure to think that this is our ancestry. It was such a goodwill gesture to meet people, interact with people, and people that we thought 400 years ago were our grandparents. It was such a beautiful feeling to know people are people. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you try to think what is the best we can achieve, what we can share with other people. There's so much happening in this whole world of tension and commotion and economic disadvantages, oil pollution, political unrest, but yet when you come and think, and especially when you travel, sit quietly and watch, where are we heading within our short span of life? All that you have is people. Our languages, our cultures, our colors, our faith, and all the tradition that we belong to, everything can be summarized with the feeling, after all, we are people, are people. That's all that I think I have experienced out of my 54 years of travel. There's so much to enjoy when you travel. It's not the luxury of food, it's not the luxury of currencies, it's not the luxury of travel in high society, but you have a lot to appreciate. Especially the cruises are excellent to go. That's the time you enjoy the luxury of food, not the word. If anybody wants to study and make a research on organization skills, go on a long cruise trip and see how they're organized on a floating monster, how they can feed 3,000 people for almost 2 months without even touching a boat. How beautifully they're organized to take care of each of you from morning till night. The program is so well organized, from the breakfast to the lunch to the dinner, from the education sessions, from the entertainment sections, from the interaction. There's even on board the ship single mingle program. There are singles on board the cruise. They also call the single mingling program. And I can also see on the cruise ship there are even same-sex